Hi everyone, welcome to week 6 of Intro to Early Childhood. I can't believe we're at the end of our journey. So for this week, you're going to be reading in our textbook chapters 5 and 6. And something I want to point out to you in chapter 6 is you're talking about teaching standards and supporting young children's learning. So one of the things that I have noticed over the years that really confuses people when we say standards is the difference between child standards and teaching standards. So child standards are what children should know and be able to do. In Massachusetts, there are early learning standards. In Connecticut, there are early learning standards, and these generally tie right in with the state's Common Core standards. So again, child standards are what children should know and be able to do. What we're going to be talking about in this week's learning is going to be program standards. And the chapter is going to review with you some of the standards for programs that are brought forth by the National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEYC. So just try and keep that in mind, the difference between program and child standards, because both of them are going to be referred to in the chapter, and even experienced educators sometimes get those mixed up. The next chapter we're going to be looking at is chapter 6, which is all about observation and assessment in young children. And that is really talking about how we assess children and how we use that information to guide our instruction. And in many of the comments that I have made to you, I have said something about intentional teaching. And assessment is part of that cycle of intentional teaching. So we assess a child, we find out where they're at, we design our instruction to bring them to the next level, and then we assess them again. So if you think of it, it is a cycle. We're going to go in sort of a circle about assessing, designing instruction, supporting children's learning, and then assessing again so we can keep designing the instruction to meet all of the learners' needs. So this week you're going to have 2 assignments. Your discussion assignment, which is going to be due your initial response to the prompt is due by Thursday, and we're going to be having a conversation about why assessment is important and if there are any current issues with assessment, and also a brief definition of different kinds of assessment: authentic, traditional, formal, informal, formative, and summative assessments, and any special considerations in any of those forms of assessment for differently abled learners, for children with disabilities. You're also going to be writing your final paper, or final paper or presentation, however you'd like to be creative, is going to be about a current issue in early childhood education. There are a list of choices that you can make in the week 6 assignment folder in the link. If you think of anything else that's not on this list and it's something you really have a strong desire to do some research about, throw me an email and ask me about the topics. I'd hate you to go off in a direction that wouldn't be as fruitful for you. So pick one of the current issues that I have listed, or drop me a line and let me know if you've chosen something else. Please note that this is the last week of class, so all assignments are due by midnight this Saturday. If you did not turn in your assignments from week 5, you have till midnight of this week to turn them in. You will have a late penalty, but you can still turn them in. Please know that I will not accept any late assignments after midnight on Saturday. So if you're have any assignments from week 5 you want to get in, and your week 6 assignment, please make sure you get them in by midnight on Saturday. I'd also like, for our closing discussion, if you can please respond throughout the week, because I noticed last week, although we had some wonderful, wonderful posts, many of them were done on Saturdays, sort of late in the day. And it really didn't give people a lot of time, myself included, because I wasn't able to get on Saturday afternoon to look at your posts, a chance to respond. So you guys are really having great ideas to have conversations about. I'd like to see our week 6 discussion be as robust as it can. Again, I'm going to remind you to please do the instructor course evaluation. It's really, really important to me, and it helps me be an intentional teacher when I get to hear some feedback about how I'm instructing and how I can do things differently and better. So with all that, it's been a pleasure to have all of you in class, and you know how to find me if you need me this week. And I look forward to seeing all of your assignments and our discussions, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know all of you better over this past month and a half. Take care. Have a great week.